I see the road at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to be actualized. It's all going to be okay. I'm going to have a family and we're going to raise them. Or I'm going to be a hippie. No, I'm going to be a hippie. I'm going to go into the Himalayan hills and I'm going to meditate until I find the spirit of nirvana. Yeah, no. It's not that kind of conflict. You think that this is just a negative rut or something. That seems to be what you're implying when you say that. No, that's not what it is. It's just all you have to do is remove the bullshit. Take the bullshit away, the delusions about what's possible, and then it's all right in front of you. There's a lot of propaganda working against this, of course. They have 1-800 numbers and all kinds of psychobabble to try to reinforce the life mantra. So I'm not surprised that there's layers upon layers of denialism reeking from your rhetoric.
And I'm an example and you're a prime example. So my questions would be, Gary, have you ever considered that we as humans do not know much at all about the universe, or that the scientific materialism in which capitalism runs and depends on, because it does, has utterly destroyed the world and almost all the spiritual/goodwill of the world? Meaning, this interpretation, this ability to control other interpretations.
So, what is goodwill going to actually do, though? So we're going to sit in your living room and pat each other's back all day and tell each other how great we are, and then you're going to lend me $10 and you're not going to ask me to pay it back. And that's going to solve it. That's going to solve the pain and pleasure duality. That's going to end the addiction to pleasure. That's going to solve the fact that people get ill and die. No matter what, they die. They go through misery and all this other bullshit without being asked if they would like to. They're just foisted into it, imposed upon by somebody. No, I don't think any of that goodwill is going to really do anything more than cause someone to basically just accept something that's unacceptable.
Of consciousness, other manifestations of consciousness, has had a devastating effect upon the world, and we living within this system, myself, you, and everyone on this YouTube considered, is affected by it. And I have an internal, dissonance going on too. And I think it takes a little bit of courage to be able to stand in the void and not just take a side because you're fed up with the process.
Okay, I knew it. No, it's not about that. It's staring into the void. Well, the void is the equivalent of staring in the void or looking into the abyss is basically acknowledging what we know. Acknowledging the amount that we know. I don't know what more we could know. I mean, the universe is just a repetition. It's a repetition of itself. It just keeps repeating itself. And whatever little variations are going on are just combinations of a set number of physical formulas that we've identified. We know enough about our circumstance as conscious human beings operating on the planet Earth to make a decision as to whether we need to continue it or not. It's not about my personal or his personal struggle with the life game. Are we going to succeed or are we going to fail? All of that is irrelevant. If he wakes up tomorrow feeling happy every day, he's still going to know. He's still going to see.
So the sheer lack of success and insanity that scientific materialism has brought to the planet is mind-blowing. I'm not putting down science, but science needs a balance to it through the unknown, the spiritual, the overlooked.
And how do we access that exactly? How do we experience that for real? Come on now. You're asking me to adopt your religion. Basically, you're asking me to overlook what I can observe and measure in favor of your wishful thinking, of your inability to cope with the absence of fantasy. And that's all it is.
Gary, you're resting your argumentative case on the presupposition that history has indeed been recorded accurately and that the institutions that run the education, the publishing, the media, the ideas, the culture of the world have not actively participated in hiding information or destroying other interpretations of human history.
Right. So it's all in the details, right? So we know that rape exists. We know that murder exists. We know that people are starving. We know that there was a genocide in the Holocaust, and we know a lot of shit happened. We have photos of it. We also know that, things kill each other to eat them. And so I don't know. What more do you need to know? What information has been distorted so, and what is hidden so secretly that once we find it, we're going to see the light, and this is all going to be so much more worth it. I do understand why you would feel the need to resort to these airy-fairy notions. You're young, and you have a lot of life ahead of you to endure. And, making it look like a journey or exploration is going to make it seem that much more bearable. But I'm not old. I don't have, so it's no excuse. It's no excuse to fill your head up with lies at the expense of the truth.
Past technologies, past sciences, etc. This is blind as well as unscientific as one can get. What if our participation in worldly affairs, as well as with others' lives, does actually play a role into what is to become of the human race? Is it so implausible to think that we do not know the truth or the whole story? Is it so strange to consider modern science and its adherents do not have an untimely...
That's like asking, do I know the whole story about a rat that lives in the wall? I watch it scurry around, scavenging and ripping other rats off for cheese, and dropping little craps all over the floor. There's nothing noble or mysterious or I don't even know. I don't know how to talk about this spiritual crap. I mean, the most spiritual thing that there is non-existence, and that's the goal, because non-existence is a win.
Grasp upon truth? I think not. In fact, true scientists, the ones that are asking these questions, are the ones that change paradigms, and that requires one to withstand the void and to not just cut away all the possibilities because one is too tired of the process. And you still presume that humanity is the goal. Okay? So,
the goal. So, we're supposed to just hand everything over to these unknown forces. We're supposed to just trust in matter and motion, in the laws of nature, and hope that they're just and kind. That's like handing over your freedom to a dictator without questioning any of his policies, without questioning any of his unethical behavior. When you know better, you have a better understanding of what would be the ethical way. You have a duty to fight. You have a duty to resist, and you have a duty to reject any notion that would cause harm and suffering onto living, conscious beings. It's simple as that.
Some of the questions, and I think if you're going to defend your position in a scientific matter, you're really going to have to answer these questions.
A scientific matter, but you're talking about the unknowable. That doesn't make any sense.